from Jenn's Extraordinary Life, and today we are going to make a cute wreath for your door, an everyday wreath. This one is pet inspired, but I'm just going to show you some basic principles of how to put a wreath together, and then you can, use it for whatever design you want to do. It's a question that I get quite regularly because I do have a side hustle where I make wreaths and sell them. And so people are always like, well, teach us how to do what you do. So today I'm going to teach you how to do what I do. Supplies that you're going to need for this. This is a grapevine wreath. So you're going to need a grapevine wreath. You can use round or oval. I am using round for this. And this one was purchased at Michael's. I like to purchase my grapevine wreaths at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I feel like they have the best selection of symmetrical grapevine wreaths. A lot of times I've ordered them online from my various wholesalers and whatnot, and I just am not in love with the quality. So if I can go into a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's and actually look at it, I do. And that's where I tend to get them. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need, if you want, you don't have to, because a lot of people don't want a sign on their wreath. They just want florals or whatever. This one is a special order, and so it is for rescue dogs, and that's what's going on here. So that's just a nice little sign we're gonna attach to that. This one has a variety of tulips. I've got white, some green, and some ivory. And then I have pulled out a variety of eucalyptus, some with seeds and some without seeds. I will try to drop the links in the description for things that I know for sure where I purchased them. But a lot of this stuff I just have on hand in my shop, and so I can't really remember where I got all the things, but you can make it your own. You're gonna need some pipe cleaners, chenille sticks, whatever you call them, a staple gun, or in lieu of a staple gun, you could use cable ties. Can you see those? I have 3 cable ties here. And these are little cable tie mounts, I don't know if you call them cable tie mounts or cable mounts, but they have 3M sticky stuff on the back, and then you just slide your cable tie through it. These are great, and I'll show you later what we would use those for, but they're a great solution if you don't have a staple gun or you don't want to use a staple gun. And then I have a glue pot here. You don't have to use a glue pot. Obviously, you could just use a hot glue gun. I love my glue pot a lot. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Some wire snips, and because we have to cut the florals and stuff, and some scissors to cut ribbon. And speaking of ribbon, I like to pull together at least 3 different ribbons whenever I make a bow. A neutral, some kind of very simple pattern. In this case, I'm doing black and ivory stripes. And then I've got these black and white. This is so cute. Can you see this? Let me put it in this other. Okay, how cute is that? That is just a bunch of different puppies, dogs. So I thought it'd be really cute with this rescue sign that's kind of a black and white theme. So that's what we're going with for that. And that's it. That's all the supplies. So first thing I do is when I get my wreath, I don't know if you can tell, see if I can get it a little close. Sometimes they're kind of dirty. They have leaves or whatever in there. You totally could leave that in there. You're putting stuff in front of it. I don't. I like to pick the leaves and stuff out and throw those away. So you want to clean up your wreath before you start making it. Let's do that. Basically, you're just throwing away the leaves that have dried. Some people like the leaves. I'm not a fan. And I think, to me, it just looks kind of dirty. So Used to be you buy these and they were nice and clean. Not anymore. Maybe they don't have enough employees right now. Who knows? Who knows what the deal is? Maybe the guy that used to pick the leaves out of these quit. But it just seems like in the last couple of years, the quality of detail put into materials has kind of gone down the pipes. All right, so see, it leaves a little bit of a mess, and it's left a little bit of a mess here on my countertop, so I'm just going to kind of brush that into the garbage. All right. So now we've got a clean wreath to work with. Oh, there's one more leaf. Let me get that one out of there. And obviously, you don't have to get every single one, but you just want it to look like, you know, you took the time to clean it up. So we've got our base here, and I like to start with my bow first. So let's make a bow. I'm going to go in this order, back to front. I put my patterned ribbon, then my neutral, and then my feature ribbon on the very top because it's going to be in the front. So quickly I will show you how to make a bow. I always start with either an angled tail like this, or like that. Either way, we're gonna go this way with this one because I just did it. And I come down a couple of inches, probably, I don't know, 6 inches. And then I will squish that together, twist, and make my loop. Squish that together, twist, and make my loop. The reason I'm twisting is so that the pattern is always on the top, on the outside. And then this is just going to go in the very back. I'm going to make this one 4 loops. Again, I'm just twisting, making a loop. Then when I get to the 4th loop, then I'm going to come down and make another tail like the other side. And we'll come back and crop all of those tails at the end. So I've got 4 little even loops that are around maybe 6 inches, 5 or 6 inches. Then I'm going to take my neutral ribbon, set this aside, take my neutral ribbon here, which is just, looks kind of burlappy, which I thought would be nice with the grapevine. I've made lots of pet wreaths. They're very popular. So in this one, I'm going to also do 4. Same thing, bring it to the middle, loop it, squish it, loop it. Cut that off, move that aside. They do make bow makers. I have an easy bow maker, but it's easier. I've been making bows for so long, it's just easier for me to make a bow with my fingers. But I do have arthritis, and so on days when my fingers are not cooperating, I have been known to use my easy bow maker. So they're kind of pricey. You can totally do this with your fingers. You just have to make sure you have a good grip on whatever's going on in the center. So you just keep that one hand doesn't ever move. All right, now we're for the special centerpiece ribbon, and for this I just do 2 loops. It's right on the top, and I make these loops a little bit smaller than the other, since they're on the top. Actually, I'm going to do 3 just because I think it looks like it wants to be 3. You do whatever you want to do. It's your wreath. And speaking of that, no 2 wreaths are ever alike. People ask me all the time, can you duplicate this, or can you? I found this on Etsy. Can you do this? No, I cannot. I'm sorry. It's a lovely wreath. It's a beautiful wreath. And if you found somebody who made it and you love it, just buy it from them. But I would be happy to make a wreath for you, but it's going to be my design, and it's going to be, it's going to look like something I did. I am not the other person, so I cannot make something look like somebody else did. It's an art form. So it'd be like asking me if I can paint a Picasso. I'm not comparing my wreaths to Picasso. Please don't take that or hear that. But it would be like asking me if I could, you know, I don't know, sing like somebody else and sound exactly like another artist, or paint exactly like somebody else, or whatever. It's not going to happen. So don't beat yourself up if you go look on Pinterest and you see something and you're like, oh, I want to make something like this, and it doesn't look exactly like that. That's okay. It doesn't matter. It looks like you. It looks like you made it, and it looks like your style. If you don't love your style and you love somebody else's and you want to purchase from somebody else, then go do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with either way. Do it yourself or get somebody else to do it. Or if you just don't want to deal with all the time or finding materials and supplies. And I will tell you, you don't use every single thing for one wreath. So a lot of times people will find that if they go buy all the materials to make something or duplicate or replicate something that they've seen on Pinterest or Etsy or wherever, you end up spending more than if you just purchased it from the person, because they're going to make 3 or 4 out of those materials and still be able to make a little bit of a profit, whereas you're going to have to buy all of it, and then you're going to have all this extra ribbon or all this extra florals or whatever left over. So, you know, do it yourself at your own risk, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, so there's my bow. It's where I start. I love to start that. See how that, you've got the different colors in the back, your neutral. You just kind of fluff those leaves out, and then aren't those puppies cute? So cute. All right, I start kind of about so maybe 2/3 of the way up. I always put my bow on the left side. There's no rule that says bows have to go on left side. That's my style. That's my way of doing it. You can put your bow on the right side. You can put your bow on the bottom. You can put your bow at the top. You put your bow wherever you want to put your bow. On this one, we're going to put the bow on the left, about 3/4 of the way up. And I am just weaving my pipe cleaner that I used to tie my bow together. I'm just weaving it through here. Probably should have got my readers to see the detail, right? But anyway, I'm just weaving it through this grapevine. That is one thing about grapevines. They've got lots of places for you to attach stuff. So I've woven it through. I've got my 2 ends, and I'm just gonna twist that really tightly. I've pulled it really tightly and twist it. We'll come back through at the end and clean all this up with the wire snips, and then I'm gonna come through here and just kind of fluff my bow and get my tails and all the little things where I want them on my wreath. Okay, so I like how that looks a lot. And then get some of this leaves out of the way. Then I like to place my sign, and then I'll put my florals. So this sign is a little bit bigger, so I feel like it's going to look really cute right there, and then we'll fill in with florals around it. So here's what I'm going to do with the sign. I'm going to attach it to the wreath in 3 places at the very bottom. Let me see if I can show you this. I'm going to attach it, probably just fluffed my bows up. attach it right here. I'm going to attach it right here at the top, and I'm going to attach it kind of like right here. So it'll be secured in 3 places and it won't be going anywhere. So what I'm going to do is put my wreath where I want it, put my thing where I want it, and then I'm going to kind of just put a little mark where I want. Okay. So I've just kind of marked the back. I'm going to switch my bow. The back of this sign where I want to put my cable ties or my. Very good. It comes with, this particular sign comes with a hanger. I could take that off, but I like to, for my clients, I just staple gun it down because they may someday want to take this sign off and use it. So I just tack it down like that. And then that way if they want to take this sign off ever and use it for something else, they can. I'm going to use chenille sticks to attach this. This is where I was saying you could use the cable ties, but if you don't have a staple gun, then I just take my chenille sticks and put 2 staples in there. Now you do want to make sure that your staples are not longer than the sign is thick. Ask me how I know. You learn lots of things early on when you're making wreaths. All right, so I'm gonna have 3. I'll put them on there where I've marked them. And I can't see the mark for that one, so let me just try it again. Okay, it's right up here. All right, so then I just pull them up, and that is what I'm going to use to tie and attach the sign to the wreath. If I didn't have a staple gun, I would have used the cable ties. I like to use a staple gun because I feel like it's a little more permanent. These do stick really well. This 3M stuff is no joke, and they do stick really well. But we live in Florida, and Florida sun, enough said, right? So I don't take any chances with my signs. Same thing we did for the bow. You're gonna take your chenille stems and feed them through. I do not tie them until I get the sign where I want it for sure, because I might want to move it. Might not. Probably won't, but I'm just feeding these chenille stems through the grapevine wreath. And then once I get it on there, I look at it and decide if that's where I want it. And if so, then I tighten everything up. And so I like that. I like how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these chenille stems up. And you want to pull and make them very tight. Don't worry that they're going to come off. They are attached with staple guns, so it's fine. Sometimes I turn it over, make it easier to get to these. Another thing, if you do have arthritis or your fingers don't have great dexterity or whatever, chenille stems might not be the preferred choice for this. You might want to go with the cable ties because they may be a little easier to deal with. You don't have to do all the twisting and whatnot. So on a bad day or a bad week, those are the ones I use. On a good day, I like to use the chenille stems. So we take our wire snips. Now that we've got it tightened, we'll go ahead and clean up the back of this. I'm just going to snip this excess off of the bow and the signs. Make sure they're twisted really nice. Then snip off the excess, throw that away. You don't need a ton of this hanging out back here. But you do want to make sure you have enough twist. And then after I've cut it off, then I'm going to take that and bend it under. The reason I do that is the ends of these get very sharp, so you want to bend that sharp point underneath a branch, so to speak, so that it doesn't poke anyone. And I found another leaf. You see what I mean? This could happen. If you find another one, you just pull it off or leave it. I mean, it's in the back, and people may not see them anyway, but I like to take into consideration glass doors and all of that. So I'm going to make sure my bow is still nice and fluffed. This is what we have at this point. Super cute, right? So you totally could leave it like this, but I'm extra. And I'm going to move my staple gun. I'm finished with it and move it out of the way. It's important to stay hydrated, folks. There's your public service announcement for the day. All right, so let me pull my glue pot over here a little bit. Now we're going to put the florals on. I have made this wreath before, so I know in my head what I want it to look like. And I take 2 of these sprigs of unseeded eucalyptus, which I'm going to cut with this wire snips. Right, put that aside. And then I take a couple of sprigs of the seeded eucalyptus. And then some florals. These are tulips, which happen to be one of my favorite. I love tulips, I love peonies. I mean, I love flowers altogether, but tulips are definitely my favorite. And when I was first married to my husband, we lived in Alaska, and there was a local florist who would get in tulips, and every Friday he would get me a bouquet of tulips. So that's probably why they're pretty special to me. All right, so we got our flowers out of the way. I probably cut way more than I'm going to use. It's better to have too much than not enough, right? All right, so my unseeded eucalyptus I'm going to put in here first, and I kind of like to play it by eyeball how I like it to look. The good thing about this is they're bendable on wires, so I'm going to put it in there and then bend it a little bit. I just take a little bit of my hot glue, and if you don't have a glue pot like this, which this has been heating up for a lot of minutes, you could just do this with a hot glue gun. You just want to make sure you press it in far enough that your glue is not front and center. So I'm going to glue the end of this. Okay. And then I'm going to take some seeded eucalyptus, and I'm going to put it a little bit further down. This is what's going to be in kind of in the background, so to speak, of the florals. And then our feature florals will be the tulips. But they need a bed of greenery to lay on. And I know this is not tulip leaves. If you prefer to have all the same thing, then you go for it. you just do all the tulip leaves, but I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna take a lot of them. So, all right, I do leave the greenery on my florals. This one is ivory. It's probably kind of hard to tell the difference between all these colors in the camera. And I'm just gonna place these in here and kind of mix them up between the white, the green, and the ivory. And what I do to one side, I'm going to kind of do the same thing to the other side, but it's not going to be exact. Again, no two wreaths are going to be exact. I have made this particular wreath many times, and they're all similar. They're all my work, but no two looks exactly alike. There's no possible way to get every single flower in exactly the right spot. Think about the grapevine wreaths are not identical in themselves, so you just can't. All right, I'm going in with a little bit of the green florals. They're just like a really light, can you see that? Really light, variegated, almost kind of ombre colored green tulips. Really pretty. And I used 2 ivories down here on the bottom. I'm going to use 2 greens on the top. Just kind of filling in the bare spaces. And then I've got some white. I like to put the white up close to, this is a bright white, up closer to the bow. I don't have a rhyme or reason for that. It's just what I like. You might not. You might want to put your white somewhere else, but I like it up close to the bow. And there you have it. That is it. Hold it up, you look at it. I'm going to turn it to you. And then I've got just a little spray of florals on the top and the bottom. You could move those around if you don't like exactly how they're positioned. You can kind of manipulate them because they are on wires. You've got your little feature sign there that's so cute, your dog ribbon. So you always want your ribbon to have something to do with the sign, whether it's colors, theme, whatever the case may be. In this case, I went with both color and theme on that. And then the greenery and the florals just happen to be some of my favorites, and my client also liked them. So there's that. And that's it. There's your wreath. It is finished. It is now ready to hang on your door. You can take a ribbon and tie it around there to hang it from if you want. I don't do that. I just use the actual grapevine itself to hang them from the doors. And there you have it. I hope this inspires you to be crafty yourself. You can do it. And if you say, I don't have a crafty bone in my body, that's okay too. If that's the case, then you find somebody who does and take them your business. Whether that's, like somewhere on Etsy, or give me a call, or wherever. Maybe you have a friend in your town, or whatever the case may be. But I will try to put the links again to where I purchased the items, if I remember. Some of them, I may not remember where I got them, but the ones that I can remember, I will put in the description where I got it. But, you can find stuff at any craft shop, Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. There's tons of places online. Because I do this as a business, I also have some wholesale sites that I buy from. But, just as an individual, you can find all the things that you're looking for at your local craft shops. Sometimes Walmart even has some things. You just have to be careful and look kind of at quality and what you want. I will say that the Dollar Tree, yes, they do have some ribbon. Sometimes they have some wreath things. They have florals. I have found, while they may be cheap, they are cheaply made. You get what you pay for. I like to pay a lot for my florals because I want them to look good. I want them to look real, and I want them to last. But if you're trying to make something on the cheap and you want to go to the Dollar Tree and maybe you're just going to put it up for a few weeks or whatever, you go for it and do you. But just know that if you're buying cheaper materials, you're not going to get the longevity out of them. So, you know, if you're just making something that you want to display for a day or two or a week or whatever, maybe, you know, you're gonna put it up just the week before Halloween and show it, or the week before Easter or somebody's birthday party or whatever. You want to do that, you go for it. But if you want something that's going to last, you do need to pay quality money for the materials. So just a little pro tip for you there. All right, again, I hope this inspired you to get crafty or find somebody who is, whichever the case may be. And if you like this kind of stuff, put it in the comments. Let me know what you would like to see. And yeah, I'm happy to make all kind of things, but let me know what it is you would like. But what would really help me out the most is if you would go up to that corner of my channel and click subscribe, and then hit that bell and so you can get the notifications, and then that way you can see when I'm putting out new videos. But also you're helping me out by subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe at all. You just get to see my videos. And that's it. Until next time, we'll see you. Have an extraordinary life.